Sometimes the world looks like you ain't ever seen it before. Stuck behind never-ending windows, all you need is a door. Searching for something to put a smile back on your face. Just remember, in unusual times, it can come from an unusual place. You need a partner for the ride, 'cause everybody needs a Clyde. So set your worries to the side. Just ask, say the word and I'll be there. Just ask, you know the greatest things in life all come in a pair. They say hindsight's 20/20, but that ain't far enough behind me. So if you want the sweetest honey, I think hindsight's 1990. There's no need to pretend I got a hand I can lend, 'cause when you really need a friend, just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Are you ready to slay another day? So are we. Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sara Fergenson. Sarah, how are you?
Jess, no, that's not my name. My name is Sara Fergenson. Please, for goodness sake, I am undercover.
Yes. Obviously, I should have read your name tag. Sorry, that's my bad.
Yeah, it was right there all along.
Yes.
What's your undercover name? Is it Jessica?
That seems like a terrible undercover name because it is so similar to my name, and it's not a name.
Well, it's a name.
It's a name. But,
it's a name. Jennifer, probably. That's
yeah. It's an easy one because it's at least close enough.
Yeah, that's the little like hop skipping away. But we are here talking about a brand new season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, season 3. We're here. We're talking about season 3, episode 1, and I'm really excited to talk about this episode. I mean, it was a fine premiere. Like, I don't think it was anything to like write home about. I feel like it's difficult when you have your main character or like one of your main characters separated from the group. But with the ending of this episode, safe to say, we're going to get the Scoobies back together next episode. So that's exciting. We have so much to go through. We have new looks to discuss. We have some new storylines to discuss. And we're changing. We're evolving as usual. So if you listen to our Felicity podcast that we do, this won't be like very new to you. But if you don't and you're just here for Buffy, normally we go chronologically, we talk scene by scene, on and on and on. Instead, we want to make it more conversational. So we're going to talk through kind of each separate storyline, not necessarily chronologically. We're not necessarily going like scene by scene, to make it more, conversational and exciting for us, the podcasters who are putting this podcast out there. So if that's something you don't like, sorry, but that's what we want to do. So we're going to do it anyway. So this week, I think we should start, though, as we usually do with any premiere, and talk through some of the looks, because haircuts, hair colors, things are a changing for some of these characters.
Yeah. All of the old fashioned hour from the olden days. Now,
yes,
I believe like it just makes sense to talk about Anne herself, also known as Buffy, because Miss Buffy Girl, she, in the time that we have last seen her, which I believe has been a couple of months, because I think like the entire summer has happened, she had time to not only go to, I think, New York City. If I had to guess, it wasn't like very concrete what city she went into, but I know those sirens. Excuse me. Sorry. I smashed my mic. I know those sirens. I know those sirens really well. And that sounded like a New York to me. So
you think she went all the way to New York from California?
I guess.
No, because Lily, like, they're not that far away, I thought. I thought this was just like the closest
like
city.
LA. She just went to LA.
Possibly.
I don't know. There was yellow cabs. I don't know. In my
Do they not have yellow
headcanon-
cabs anywhere else?
Bitch, I don't know. I'm a New Yorker. I don't know. In my headcanon, I was like, okay, Buffy wants to go to New York because like to maybe find out a little bit more about Angel's past when he was a little street rat.
Oh,
So
interesting.
she was like, okay, I want to go like see if I can like connect with him and see where he stayed. Cause it was very reminiscent of when we saw the flashback in the Becoming Part 1 where Angel was like living in New York and like was like a little homeless guy. So like I kind of assumed it was New York. It could be a different city. I mean, like, I don't know. It could be LA, but I've never been to downtown LA where it was kind of like a New York City vibe.
I guess okay. I'm not a city person. You know this. Everyone knows this. I kind of just assumed that all downtown areas of cities look very similar. So this kind of could have been anywhere. I assumed she was reasonably close by simply for the fact that like she happens to bump into someone else who went to Sunnydale. Like that seems a little wild.
No, but but Lily is not a person that is from Sunnydale. She flows. Like she goes here, she goes there. So to me, like it just made sense that like, oh, she would just go to another city. And I kind of just ignored the fact that like, how did she get there? It's like none of my business how she got there. But anyway, I was saying like she got time in between like getting a job at a restaurant or a diner and, you know, being undercover and like renting an apartment. She also had time to get highlights.
Yeah. Okay. So Buffy's hair, I mean, it's kind of a similar length to what it was before, but it's definitely like, it's a little strange, I think. It's kind of like a strawberry blonde sort of thing, but like with the chunkiest platinum blonde highlights.
Yeah, this is the really 90s chunky highlight phase. I liked it because I was just like, yeah, like we're going edgier. We're going like it seems like maybe a little bit shorter. It's definitely like bleached in some areas. It does look a little strawberry blonde, especially in the restaurant scene, but
yeah,
I was more fixated on the highlight part of it. But I liked her new look. I thought that it worked for me. Aside from the fact that she's wearing a diner outfit because she works in a diner, like a uniform. It has like the name tag Anne. I didn't really think that her like street fashion was that different, like out and about.
No, she seems to be wearing she has similar style to what she did before. Yeah, I think the hair is fine. I like the strawberry blonde color, don't get me wrong. It's the chunky highlight that really brings me back to like questionable decisions were made in these times with hair. I just don't think a chunky highlight is as pretty as a more subtle one, but I do like the strawberry blonde color on her. And yeah, she's working at this diner. She has some I really love the cute little like pigtail braids on her. I think they look very cute.
Have you ever seen on TikTok people it's like the pigtail theory where there's a theory that if you wear pigtails and you're a server at work, you get more in tips.
Okay, no, I have not. Okay, I thought you were going to say a completely different theory. No, I've not heard that theory. I remember when I was, too young. It was very inappropriate now that I'm thinking about it. Let's say I was 18 just for the sake of it. I remember when I was working and one of the guys at my job was like, and I think I had pigtails in that day. And he was like, oh, haven't you heard about the whole pigtails thing? And I was like, no. And they were like, yeah, it's like girls who wear pigtails want their hair pulled while they like have sex or something like that.
Well, pulling hair during sex can be a very enjoyable experience.
Oh, I'm not saying it's like, listen, I'm not here to kink shame anybody, but I was like, that really wasn't what I was going for.
No,
I just wanted to have my hair in pigtails.
But did you get more tips that day is the question.
I didn't get tips at my job, so.
No. So I guess that's a no then. Next, I would like to talk about Willow because I'm actually very excited about her makeover. Because although I have this theory of never cut your hair ever, I do like Willow's short haircut. And I think the main reason why is because it appropriately ages her so that she does not look like a naive child. Like she has an edge. And furthermore, I really, really like the fact that Willow is wearing Buffy's leather jacket.
I love this look for Willow. You know me. I am a huge fan of it's summer. Cut that hair above your shoulders. Do it, girl. You got it. I love this look. I think I agree with you completely. It matures her in a way that she doesn't look like a 13-year-old or like a third grader anymore, really. I love that she's like wearing the leather jacket, both because it makes her look a little bit edgy, a little bit cool, and also because I think it's like a really lovely nod to like her missing Buffy. So I love this makeover look for Willow. I'm totally in on this. I think she probably, in my opinion, has the best glow up season over season. Let's talk about her partner Oz. Yes, go ahead.
I did want to say, like, it's not like she wore the leather jacket the entire time. She totally was wearing like this purple bucket hat.
Yes.
The next scene when she meets up with Cordelia. So like I would not say like this is a permanent change, but I will say like I don't know. She was serving like J14 realness or like Teen Vogue.
She was trying to emulate Buffy because it's the same scene that they're doing the slaying, and she's like, "Come get it, big boy."
Oh no, I was actually referring to the scene after that, but that was really, really funny when she was doing that.
Loved it.
I like how like Oz was like, "Ooh, that's like Oz and Xander were like, that's kind of creepy." I didn't notice much of a difference for Seth Green. Am I just like guy hair blind? Because
I think his hair looks a little bit blonder than before. Maybe it's the same. I think I'm just very used to the Seth Green that has bright red hair, and his hair looks almost like he dyed it blonde and then colored it red. If that makes sense.
Oh,
But maybe it's not that much of a difference season over season. I still like it. It's like spiky. I think it looks good on him. And I also kind of love Willow and Oz that they both kind of have this reddish hair. And I think it's just adorable when they're together. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think that there's much of a difference between this season and last season for Oz, but that's okay.
Maybe not. Yeah.
That's okay.
Xander, I don't think looks too different, if I'm being honest. Does his hair look any different to you? Like, I feel like it looks pretty much the same.
No, it doesn't look different. And then in terms of like Cordelia, I think that her hair is more in lines of season 1. Like last season in the beginning, at least, she had those highlights, like that was very blonde. And this season it's like darker. I like it more, this color.
I agree. I think her hair looks better this season than it did last season. I think the back to the roots of season 1, I think, was a good change for her.
And I liked her outfit. Yeah. Like I like it when she dresses preppy, and I liked her back to school outfit because back to school day 1 is very important. Everybody, I mean, at least for me, picking out what outfit you're going to wear for the first day of school, like it really establishes how the rest of the year is going to go.
Can I just tell you, when you just said picking out an outfit for day 1 of school, there was a knot in my stomach that formed immediately.
Why?
Because of the stress. Like I used to be, and I wasn't necessarily stressed about picking out an outfit necessarily, though that was part of it. It was just more like every single year I was so stressed for the first day of school because it was like, I have to find my classes. I used to have nightmares leading up to it about like not being able to find my classes. And again, this was just further proof that I had anxiety and didn't know it, but I would stress the fuck out about the first day of school. It was not great.
I don't think that I was worried about that except for like maybe like first day of freshman year, I was concerned
in a new like building. Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, like incredibly vain. I was just worried about what I looked like. Yeah. And like, I don't know. That
was a part of it. Like picking out an outfit was certainly part of it, but I think it was more about like the actual logistics of it that had me stressed. But I think that's about it for like the glow ups on people, because
Yeah.
honestly, Giles and Joyce look the same.
They look the same. Yeah.
So there's
But
nothing really to talk about.
yeah, I
there.
guess like the real star of the show is just Willow and how good she looks.
And she has like a very cute like lipstick lip gloss situation happening. Yes, I agree. Willow looks great. And she's still sporting a bucket hat, which I approve of, as we know. I love bucket hats.
Yeah.
Where do we want to start this time? Because I mean, because Buffy is separated from the Scoobies, we have kind of a weird situation here. Do we want to just start with Buffy?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So, like we had said, Buffy, leave last season with Buffy driving off. We didn't know where Buffy was going to go. We were just like, she does not want to be here. She got kicked out of school, so she doesn't have to show up for the first day of school. Question mark where she actually wound up. Like I said, in my headcanon, this is New York City, but I guess it could be any dingy ass city. And she is trying to keep a low profile. I mean, it's a little hard for her because she still has this like Batman mentality where if she sees like some pedestrian getting hurt or whatever, she has to like save them. So I don't really think that she's doing a great job staying undercover. But she does change her name when she works at the diner, and she does get these chunky highlights. And it seems as though she has like a studio apartment and she's somehow paying rent with her job.
I was wondering how the fuck this was happening, because I mean, she didn't have a job, right? Like, she's a Slayer. Obviously, that's her job. But as far as we know, because there's no fucking union, she's not getting paid to be a Slayer. So I'm like, how the hell did she afford this apartment? Even a studio apartment. I mean, in a city is going to, I mean, it doesn't look like the best area in terms of like crime and everything. But
no, once again, I feel like this is none of my business. I do not know how she afforded this.
You're just like, she made it work.
She made it work. She's just like Reba, a single mom who works two jobs. No, she works one job and she has no children, but she has shit to do. And that is work this diner job. It looks like another fucking pie shop. I don't know. I've never been to a diner, and I'm from Jersey. Okay, people. I know my diners. But there has never been a time where I go to the diner and I'm like, get me a fucking pie. Never.
No, and I've also, every diner I've ever been to, they've not dressed like they're from the 50s. Like, they've always just worn regular clothing, you know?
Yeah.
I love a fucking diner. Like, if I'm just out and about and someone's like, where do you want to go to lunch? If there's a diner nearby, that's my answer. I want to go to a diner.
What's your diner food? Because I have like 99% of the time, I'm getting myself a grilled cheese and fries.
Interesting. Okay. So if I'm going in the morning to a diner or even like a brunch, I'm getting Eggs Benny all the way. Eggs Benny. I love an Eggs Benny. If I'm going more like later in the afternoon, I'm probably going to get some sort of wrap, like a chicken Caesar wrap, a buffalo chicken wrap with waffle fries, preferably. I don't have to have the waffle fries, but I fucking love a waffle fry.
I don't want waffle fries.
Why?
I just want regular fries.
Can I ask you, okay, so you say you get a grilled cheese?
Yes.
Or do you dunk it in ketchup? I know this is a thing people do. You don't. Okay.
No. I mean, my fries, yes, but no, not my sandwich. Yeah.
I had to check.
Let's do this. No, I'm not a monster.
I mean, I don't either. I'm a tomato soup or nothing girly, you know?
Yeah, but I just like my fries. But okay, so she's working at the diner and she comes across this girl named Lily and her boyfriend who is draped over her named Ricky. And Jess, like, did you recognize her from the last time when she was in the cult?
No, I didn't recognize her. I mean, it's been long enough where I wouldn't have recognized like a person who probably had like a few lines. I figured they'd be important because it seemed like we really honed in on them very quickly. But no, I didn't recognize her. Did you?
I thought that she looked familiar. And then when she said like later on, basically she kind of like catches Buffy, like she recognizes her, and she was like, oh, do I know you? And Buffy's like, no. And long story short, Lily comes out afterwards and is like, hey, like you're Buffy. I remember you. Like, you helped me because I almost joined a cult where we worship vampires. Wasn't that a silly Billy time? Just like some silly goose action. And Buffy is like, I don't know. She's like, oh yeah, my name was Chanterelle because this girl, Lily, she's like a nobody. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying that she is anybody that whoever she wants to be at any point in time.
She's a Rolling Stone.
She's a Rolling Stone, yeah.
Yeah, she flits to and fro. She changes her name and kind of what she's interested in. Yes. Honestly, she's kind of like me when I hyperfixate on my latest hobby and then change my mind 10 minutes later on what I want to do next. But except it's her entire life.
Yeah, like I've seen these girls before. These girls are the people that when they were like at one point in time, they were like the Christian good girl. Then they dated a hipster and then they like only wore like flannels. Then next thing you know, they like have a new boyfriend and they join the country club. Like she's that girl. Like she's a chameleon. And but like, yeah, I like what you said. Like she's a Rolling Stone. Like she blows where the wind goes. She's that, when Katy Perry says, have you ever felt like a plastic bag blowing in the wind? And everybody was like, no, I don't fucking know what you're saying. That
she knows.
She knows what it means. She is the plastic bag blowing in the wind. Yes. So she kind of explains this. And then she asks Buffy for money, which
I did not like this. I felt like there was a different approach. Like I felt like she could have said, hey, I know of like a party, but like just to forewarn you, like we're gonna need a little bit of money to like get in. I just felt like she was very like, hey, do you have money? Like, whoa,
money.
Girl.
And then Buffy was like, and she was like, no, like there's a party and like I want to go with you, but also I have no money because me and my boyfriend Ricky spent all of our money on some ugly ass tattoos.
These tattoos, okay. Oh my gosh. I'm not trying to shame anybody, but okay. If you are under a certain age and have only been with your partner for a certain amount of time, please, dear God, do not get their name tattooed on you. Like, get something that is symbolic of them, maybe, if you really, really want to. But don't get their name on you. And especially, don't get the, like, tattoo where half of it is on someone else's body. Because when you're alone, you look fucking dumb. Like, honestly, unless it is like, this is where I will make an exception. If it is your parent or like your sibling or something like that, even then, I'm not a big fan. Like, get matching tattoos. Don't get a half a tattoo. But if it is like a familial relative or something, maybe. But good God, these were massive, number one.
Yeah, they took up the entire forearm.
Yes, also on your forearm, very, very visible, not like, a cute little dainty spot.
This is the 90s. How do you think you're going to get a bank teller job?
You can't. All the moms told us you cannot get a job if you have tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I've been jobless for 15 years because of my tattoo. Yeah. So that was weird too. Like I was like, I don't know what she wants. But so basically Buffy, and like this was so weird too, because like Buffy was like, no, I don't want to hang out. And then Chanterelle, Lily, and whatever the fuck her face is, was like, okay, then goodbye, you rejected me. And Buffy's like, no, I don't mean to reject you. I just want to be alone. Nobody understands me. So then like Lily leaves and like Buffy kind of like walks home to her shitty apartment and she comes across like all of these like little lost souls. Oh wait, I'm forgetting. Before that, there's literally this guy that comes around and is like, I'm nobody.
And an old lady who does it too.
Yeah, everyone's like, I'm no one. And then like tries to kill themselves or like get hit by a car and Buffy saves them. And then everybody's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And she's like, yes, I'm fine.
She gets plowed over and she's like, okay, bye.
Yeah, she was super healing. So yeah, she was fine. Like her life was fine. And then this is when she like runs into this guy who has like all these flyers and he's like, hope for the poor, hope for the poor. Who wants some hope? And Buffy's like, no, I don't want hope. I just want to be left alone. And he's like, you can come to my creepy apartment where I can give you hope.
It's a cult. Here's the thing. This is a cult. If you're ever wondering if you're being approached by someone who's running a cult, this is your sign that this is a cult.
I mean, it looked like religious, like come to my church. That's what it looked like.
But not in a basement. If you're trying to tell me to come to a basement, I'm not coming. That's it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, we probably don't want to go to, but I mean, maybe it's a basement church. It could be something, but she doesn't want it. We see her apartment, and then later on, Lily comes around and is like, hi again. I lost my boyfriend. He's been missing for a day.
And Buffy's like, well, that's not really my job. But eventually, because Buffy, like you said, is Batman. She's a bleeding heart. She can't help herself. She helps out. They go around because she finds out that, like, oh, apparently Lily and Ricky both donate their blood frequently, but not donate because they get paid for their blood, I guess. So
I think that it's like the equivalent to selling your plasma.
Okay, so they do that often. So they go and they ask the nurse lady, hey, have you seen Ricky? And she looks sus as fuck. So we know she's involved. And eventually, come to find out, Buffy finds this old man next to what I thought maybe this is what he did, but it looked like he consumed a bunch of, like, I don't know, dish detergent or something, like whatever that was.
Oh, the blue gook from the blue gook.
It was
from the
gook.
pile of gook.
Yeah, it looked like he, injected bleach into his veins sort of situation. And I was confused at first, Sarah, because when it's revealed, when like Buffy looks at his arm and she sees the tattoo, at first I thought that there were just a ton of couples getting these tattoos, and it had something to do with like the ink in the tattoo was making them like do something. And then I was like, oh shit, no, he's just aging. Like it's him.
I kind of felt like, oh, maybe this guy was actually like some old ass dude, and he was a shapeshifter and was able to like make himself look like he was younger. I think that's what I was thinking.
Originally, I thought he was going to be like, when we first met the couple.
Yeah,
I thought Buffy was going to have to save Lily Chanterelle from creepy boyfriend. That's what I originally thought.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was pretty creepy and did look rather untrustworthy. So yeah, I did think that he was up to no good, but I didn't really know. And they kind of go on they're on the search for Ricky, and then ultimately Buffy tells Lily, and Lily's like, you're a stupid bitch, you know nothing. and Buffy's like, I was doing you a favor. I wanted to be left alone. And Chanterelle is like, you're fucking, see you next Tuesday, get out of here. And then she meets up with the Hope guy, and the Hope guy. Yeah, the Hope guy is like, well, I don't know what that girl said, but her wires were crossed, and Ricky's just chilling out in church.
Yeah, I've seen Ricky. Come look at him. Let's go.
That's the equivalent of like the creepy guy in the white van is like, oh, you want some candy? I got some candy right over here. All you have to do is come into my white van, and I'll bring you to the candy, no problem. So she gets lured, and then this is where I would be like, absolutely not. When he like brings her to the tub of blue gook,
when he gives her an all white outfit to wear, again, can something scream cult more?
Well, I mean, like, she's like, am I getting baptized? And the answer is maybe. I'm not quite sure. But she was more focused on, she's like, this pile of gook is too dirty. My new white dress that you have gifted me, thank you, by the way. I needed a new dress. My new white dress is going to get dirty. And he's like, oh no, it's like totally fine. It's like the baptismal water.
It's a cleansing is what he calls it.
Yeah.
Cleansing has so many negative connotations in my opinion. Like, cleansing just sounds bad. Especially when it's called cleansing and then you just see a big pile of black gook. Like, nothing about that is cleansing.
It's not good. If you brought me to a body of water and I can't even see through like the first like quarter of an inch, then I will not be going near that body of water. It's not happening.
No, not happening.
Buffy winds up at the same place. At first was trying to be undercover. And then she's like, I can't do this undercover thing. This is a waste of my time. And she lets herself in. And then her, Lily, and the Hope guy go through the gook. And now we are transported to who the fuck knows where.
This was weird. This was very weird. First, just to stop down on the fact that Buffy can't do undercover. I kind of love this as a character trait that she just can't. She's like unable to pretend to be someone else. I love that this is like Buffy's character flaw. She's just like, I don't have fucking time for this.
I don't
Let
have
me in
time
here.
Yeah. She's like, I'd rather do my kicky punchy than waste another moment pretending like I'm here for the Black Gook baptism bath.
Yeah. And so they all end up going into the Sea Gook bath, and or not the Black Gook bath. Sorry, this is Dawson's Creek. And like, yeah, you're right. This is it's like they're using slave labor basically. So all these like lost souls are slaves.
Okay. This was fascinating because we go through the Black Gook. We're transported into like a different dimension where time works differently. Very interesting. But the Hope guy is actually like some sort of like demon monster. Like he takes off the mask, his face is all like creepy and scary. And then he's like, okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking people that, you're right, are lost souls. If they go missing, no one will look for them. Nobody cares about them. They have no purpose in life. And then one day in the outside world equals like 100 years here. So I force them to do slave labor, and then I send them for like 100 years down here, and then I send them back home, and then they just die and nobody looks for them. But what are we working towards?
Okay. This is where I was dying laughing, because the whole time you just see people hammering. Like that's all they're doing. Like this is very much like an iron shop or something, like a blacksmith, but all they're doing is hammering and moving rocks. Like I don't think they're actually getting anything done. And what cracks me up the most is these people. So the bad guy and all his like minions very much looked like, I don't know his name. Don't get mad at me. Don't come for me. I'm not a Star Wars person. They kind of look like the red-faced guy from Star Wars with the horns. That's what they reminded me of. And the fact that this guy lost his fake face because he fell on his face and it unglued it.
I love how he was like, he's like, screw you. This takes forever to glue on. It's kind of like self-sticking wallpaper, like removable wallpaper. It's like, oh, like it takes forever. You need to get it aligned. I can't align it
properly. Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to find the right eye holes and nose holes?
You're thinking of Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. That's who he kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, and like, so they lock Buffy and Lily up, and they basically are like, listen, that you forget everything while you're here. But you know, your little boyfriend, at least he remembered your name long after he forgot his, and he tells them about the timing situation.
That's romantic. That's so romantic.
It is,
I guess.
The other minions here are so ugly and creepy looking. They kind of look like the skin just got ripped off of their faces, and then half of it was stitched back on their head with some shoelaces.
I mean, that's unfortunate, but if you're down there, you can afford to be ugly.
I mean, everyone is. It's kind of the thing.
This is my thing. Okay, let's try to think. Like, what are they working on? Is this like a coal mining district?
Blacksmithing.
But why do these demons need like blacksmithed anything?
Let's just say this is the thing. This is why this episode is kind of like a little wah-wah, at least on this side of the storyline, because it doesn't really make any fucking sense. They're just like, we need humans to come down and be our slaves to hammer metal. And
like when I pretend to work, when I used to work in an office, and all I did was like clank on my keyboard.
You're just smashing your fingers on the keyboard.
Yes. Like, oh wow, Sarah's like really working hard. It's like these bitches are just like hammering some metal, and they're like, we are working hard. Doing what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
And they basically are like, so they get mad at them for
Maybe.
knowing their names. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that was you're right, because they were like, who are you? And you're supposed to say, I'm no one. And then like Lily was like, I'm Lily. He's like, no, you're wrong.
No,
you're
it was
Lily.
Aaron. Aaron says
Oh.
he's Aaron. Lily says she's no one, so she gets a
I'm no
pass.
one. Oh,
And
yeah.
Buffy's like, I'm Buffy, bitch.
I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which was cool. I
because she's like, she's ready to kick ass. So she like single-handedly takes down a bunch of these guys and are like, come on, guys, we're getting the fuck out of here. It was very funny. Like, she doesn't even have on the like cult uniform yet. Slave uniform, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, this was silly. My favorite part of this entire storyline is like, they're about to escape, right? Buffy's gathered her crowd. They're all going to get out of here. But Big Bad Man has grabbed Lily and is threatening to kill her if they don't stop this like revolution. And he goes to like step forward and like basically do a whole speech. And Lily just fucking shoves it off the platform. And that's how he dies.
That was very good.
It was the
Lily's,
best.
she's on top of her shit.
10 out of 10. I loved this so much. I found it hilarious that is the way he died. Like, it was just too good.
Didn't something pierce him too, like the gate or something? Or am I thinking of something else?
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. That was him. I thought he died right there, but he didn't. He does chase them. And then as they're escaping, the gate comes down and like, it's so gross. It like pierces through his ankles.
Yeah.
But I did love her pushing him off the platform because I thought it was absolutely hysterical. That she's just like, whoopsies.
So what's the future for this flourishing business down here? Like, what happens if like these are the people that are like responsible to make, I don't know, auto parts? Like, is there going to be like, does Ford have a shortage now?
I think so.
On transmissions.
I think so. I think this is the secret underbelly of the motor vehicle operations that no one knows about. It's these Darth Maul lookalikes getting their slave labor, and they just get all the like sad, lonely people of the world, the down and out, the the hopeless of the society.
Is this why it's really hard to get your hands on a car these days?
Exactly why. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we figured it out, and at least I can have like a cause, Yeah. Every cause has an effect. So, so Buffy and Lily escape, and
they climb out of the black goo,
which was impressive.
It was. And then it like sealed itself off, which was strange.
I don't know how. Once again, I'm just going to say it's none of my business how this happened.
I guess it was a portal when you think about it.
Yeah, it's a portal, but like, where were we? Because Lily was like, are we in hell? I've always deserved to come here. And he was like,
what did you do? Like,
she's just a sad girl.
Yeah. Also, can I ask I don't understand Buffy's line where she asks like, oh, do you want to see my impression of Gandhi? And then she like whacks the guy on the head. And Lily's like, what? And she's like, oh, that's Gandhi if he was pissed off. I don't think that was a good joke.
Well, I mean, Buffy's a little rusty on her one-liners.
I mean, yeah, I think Willow's might be even better than hers, and Willow's was not very good.
Yeah, nothing could beat like "Come and Get Me, Big Boy."
So funny.
Yeah. Buffy brings Lily back to her studio apartment, and long story short, Buffy has decided that she wants to come back home because this was a lesson that she learned. The demon running the automotive industry taught her that you can go home again. That song where you can't go home again is a complete lie. You can go home again. Because even
when your mom says don't come home, you can go home again.
You can go home. So she says, I am somebody. I am going to go home. And
also, by the way, Lily, here, you can have my old job too.
She's like, you can have my apartment. You can have my job. You can take my name. You can be everything that I am.
Yeah, Lily, we know your next alter ego. It's Anne, and she's a diner worker.
Yeah, good luck in your new life. I hope that you fulfill every dream that you could possibly want.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is being some diner bitch named Anne, then dream big. This is America.
Yeah. Yeah, and Buffy returns home, hugs her mom, and she is back in Sunnydale. Before we move on to the Scoobies, I do want to talk through the angel of it all because this is fascinating. Not only was he in this dream sequence with Buffy, where she's kind of daydreaming about time on a beach in like a very little slinky little dress. An angel comes up, puts his arms around her, and yada yada. But also, he's in the credits. Like we got a new opening credit sequence, which not only had new visuals, but the song was like revamped as well. So that was interesting.
And I mean, like, not to be like so inside baseball, but the cover of the Plex picture,
like the DVD cover sort of thing,
has Angel in it. And this is surprising to me because excuse me, he's dead.
We thought he spun off.
We thought that he departed. He went.
Where is he?
Portal.
What's happening?
He went to the portal. He did a little automotive work, and I thought he was gone. But now he's here, and it's like, what's gonna happen? I don't understand.
It's very confusing. Even if you hadn't seen like the DVD cover, him being in the opening credits is a huge like clue to like, okay, I guess we're not done with Angel because he's in the credits.
I mean, but then I was like, oh, okay, like maybe he's gonna show up in flashbacks, but then like does he really get opening credit for
That's
that?
the thing. Okay, and also just because we're mentioning the opening credits, Seth Green now in the opening credits, which I was really excited about because I'm like, yes, that means more Oz, which means more Waz, which means I'm happy.
Yeah, that means that he's going to be in like I think every episode. If you're in the opening credits, then that means you are a main character, girly.
Yeah, you got that main character energy. So I don't know what's going to happen with Angel, but I guess he's going to be bopping around at some point. Again, I don't think it's only in like dream sequences and stuff because like you said, if you're in the credits, you're going to be in more than just that, I would imagine. So we'll see. We just had to talk about it because we noticed it. It's a thing we noticed. We're keeping an eye on it. We thought he spun off. Maybe he didn't spin off yet. Who the fuck knows?
I don't.
That's it. That's it for Angel. Do you actually not know?
No, I don't know. I promise I don't know.
The way you just said, I don't. Like you do,
No, I was being serious. I do not.
Okay. Let's talk through some Scoobies. Because the Scoobies, in Buffy's absence, have been slaying. And they have this little crew now where I guess over the summer, Cordelia was like away in like Cabo or something. And so it's just been Waz plus Xander are the slaying crew, and they're trying to get this down to like I don't know, not a schedule, but like they have a step-by-step process of how they do this.
Yeah.
And Willow is taking on the routine. Willow is taking on the part of Buffy where she gets to like say the fun one-liner, like the come at me big boy.
That is the good job. She has the good job, which I'm happy for her. Like, if you're going to have a good job, that's the job to have.
But the problem is they don't really have this routine down very well yet because vampires keep escaping.
Whoops. I don't know.
It's not their fault that this guy was like a freaking acrobat in his human life.
That was hilarious. I really thought that this was a lot of fun. Like, I liked seeing Willow give like the snarky one-liner. I liked seeing the fact that Oz was like going up and was going to do this like cool like throwing the stake thing, and like they just don't have the skills. And I think that it makes me appreciate like Buffy's uniqueness and talent being the Slayer, because it's like not anybody can do the job as efficiently as she can.
Exactly. And it just goes to show that like while the Scoobies are great and they're great with assisting Buffy, they're really struggling without their Slayer. And I think it's like, gosh, here's the thing. The Scoobies are still really putting their lives in danger every time they go out and do this. This is a lot to try to take on over months without Buffy, without even knowing if she's coming back. And I thought there were some really sweet moments between the Scoobies where, where I love that Willow has this rule that they're not allowed to speak about Buffy in the past tense. I thought that was just like very sweet and innocent in the way Willow is, that she's like, I can't even bear to think about Buffy in the past tense. Like, you're not allowed to even speak about her that way because she will come back. It was very sweet.
Yeah, it was nice seeing how each of them are struggling in their own way to deal with the fact that Buffy has been missing for months now. And they start talking about the next day at school. And we learned that Xander and Cordelia haven't seen each other all summer, which I thought was like interesting. I'm like, well, I think we'll get to it in a little bit, but like their whole relationship was really like confusing to me, because I was just like, I feel as though we like missed a page in the book.
Well, it almost feels like we've kind of been here where like they weren't necessarily confirmed, like, you know, DTRing, but it feels like they did that. So then to have them not speak to each other all summer was a little strange. And I'm not a rich person. I don't know if it's like a normal thing that people literally go away for the entire summer vacation for like months at a time. But yeah, to not even connect with each other at all was kind of strange.
It was surprising.
And, yeah. And we like, this is like the first day of school, because it's been months or whatever of summer vacation. And Xander is like very excited to see Cordelia. And then when Willow bumps into Cordelia, she's really excited to see Xander. And then apparently, I didn't even know this was a thing, Sarah, that like Oz, I guess, was a senior but didn't graduate. And so I thought the allusion they were making to this in the first scene where like Willow was saying, oh, I'll be out at 3 and I'll see you then. I thought she was saying that because he was going to be like werewolfy, like it was a full moon or something. But it turns out that
I made the same assumption at first.
Yeah. But it's like, no, he didn't graduate. And so she thought he was taking summer school to like finish his like graduation or whatever. But I guess he didn't. So now he's repeating senior year. And they're juniors now because it's the 3rd season. So they're juniors, right?
Yeah, it's just a mechanic for them to. They might be seniors, actually.
Oh, they're seniors now. Oh, were they sophomores in season 1? Probably.
I think so. I think it's just it's obviously just a mechanic to have Oz be in school still and be with the Scoobies.
Yes.
So
I don't mind it.
No, I don't mind it. It's like a little weird because we know that Oz was one of like the quote unquote like brilliant ones because he got brought to that separate room with Willow. So like why, like how and why, like aside from the fact that like he probably was out of school a lot because of his werewolfism, I guess like that would make sense. But like I still like would have assumed that he would have passed his classes. Willow kind of got the ick from this.
I would get the ick too.
Like why?
Okay, because here's the thing. I think she knows how smart Oz is, right? Like we were just saying, he's a really, really smart guy. So I think she's like, really, dude? Like, you're so freaking smart. You had a ton of incompletes. All you had to do was do a little bit of summer school and you'd be out of high school. And you didn't. Like, that's not great. Like, it's not really a great look. And I just don't think she likes it. I think nowadays it wouldn't really bother me. You know what I mean? Like back when I was that age though, I think it really would have bothered me because it's like, what are my parents going to think? You know, like what is everyone else going to think? Like there's just a lot of judgment around it. And so I don't know. It's like, Oz, come on, man. Like he's definitely the guy who is insanely smart and just doesn't try. But I think it's a really great point that you did point out that he is a werewolf. So there's I mean, what is it, like 3 days in a month that he might miss school? Yeah. So that's 3 absences a month. I mean, it does kind of add up, especially if he has other absences.
Yeah, it sounds like that is probably why he went to summer school. And like, I think that he probably just wanted to spend his time with Willow in the summer because like, of course, a teenager would just like want to have fun during the summer and not go to school. But it seems like I mean, like we don't know Oz that much. Maybe it is within his character. I'm not even quite sure. But she kind of like seemed like a little thrown off by it. I feel like I'm kind of hoping like she's more more thrown off that like he hadn't mentioned it until now. Like until he showed up, that I think would give me like the ick more than the fact that like he had to come back for a second year. But or
because he definitely should have said something to her.
Year, rather. Absolutely. Like it sounds like he had plenty of opportunity to. I guess he was embarrassed. I don't know. I did feel like that was a little weird, but yeah. And then we see like a lot of like back and forth with like Cordelia and Xander and them just trying to figure out like what their situation is. And I think that like, you know what I think happened with Cordelia and Xander? I think Cordelia and Xander were like, we're not going to be together this summer. So like, we can just do whatever. We can see whoever we want. We can do whatever we want. It's fine. Like, we're just going to be casual. And like, I think that is probably what the proposal was. And I think both of them anticipated the other one to reach out, but they're both so proud that they wouldn't do it. So then they come back. Neither of them had reached out all summer. And they're pissed about that because they're like, you should have called me. Like, I missed you, but like, I'm not going to call you. You have to call me. And then they're like, okay, so we haven't talked all summer. We haven't seen each other all summer. Do you even like me? Have you been seeing people this summer? Because like, you kind of could have, but you better not have. And now they're like in this like weird spot where they don't even know what they're doing. So I kind of was like, gosh, what freaking fools. Because you have to like establish what your plans are going to be. And so that's kind of how I read the situation.
I completely agree with you that it feels like they're both way too proud to like just say, hey, I missed you this summer, or like, oh, it's so great to see you, right? Like they're both way too proud for that. But I did love that we get like both of them asking, hey, have you seen the other person? How's my hair? Blah, 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 blah. Like, how's my outfit? I really did love that. And yeah, they neither of them want to be the first one to say, I missed you. So they have this back and forth all episode where they're kind of like sniping back and forth at each other as per the usual with them. But the moment that cracked me the fuck up is they're using Cordy as bait for the vampires because they need bait to be able to lure them out, whatever. And they're arguing this whole time. Of course, at the same time, the vampire comes and attacks Willow. They're fighting it. And Xander gets attacked. Cordelia freaks out. Xander, ah! She runs, tackles into the vampire, which then forces the stake that Xander has into the vampire. He dusts, which causes, because of the disappearance, causes Cordelia to fall on top of Xander. And which I love this move. I thought this was like, again, because we have the vampires turning to dust, there's so many fun things you can do with it. And I loved this scene. I especially loved, Sarah, I have a little special treat for you. I especially loved when they kiss, the fucking music that plays. It reminded me of The Sims, and I felt like you would appreciate this.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So I have the music prepared if we want to listen.
Do you? Yeah, of course I want to listen.
Okay.
And now you
perfect.
Now you have to go to the toilet, take your pregnancy test. You find out that you're pregnant, and then you're in your first trimester.
Exactly. It really did feel like The Sims, and I loved it so much because it was so over the top in the best way.
Yeah, that was very enjoyable. So like they're fine. Like I just think that this is like a case of like we are too proud to make the first move. And I mean, like it's very on track for them. A waste of time, really, but it's fine. And
I didn't mind it because it did feel like just like them. And I mean, it was only part of the episode. They already made up by the end of it, so I really didn't mind it that much. I thought it was worth it for that moment alone because it was very, very funny.
Yeah. And then like, I guess like what else is going on with the Scoobies is that Giles obviously feels like a little responsible for what happened. He doesn't know where Buffy is, and he keeps getting leads from like randos about where Buffy's whereabouts could be. And it seems as though this is like the 9th time he got a call and went to go like check up on this lead. And each time it's not her, and they get very disappointed and upset. And it was interesting that like it seemed as though Xander and Willow was like don't get your hopes up. Like don't, like, it's good that you're trying, but like don't like keep like jumping and going. And like he was literally about to take a plane out to wherever this lead was.
This made my heart hurt. Like it was, I understand where Giles is coming from. Like he's worried about her. He's going to follow up on every lead, because what if this is the real one? Like what if this is the one that actually does lead him to Buffy? But like it's really sad, because even Willow and Xander at this point are like, you just got to wait for her to come to us. Like, you know, like it's,
which is so Buffy, of course.
Yeah.
Now, Jessica, we heard like there's this girl, this young teenage girl who is out there fighting vampires.
Right.
I was like, new Slayer.
Second Slayer, yeah.
New Slayer. Eliza Gooshgoo. Badoo.
Gooshgadoo.
Elijah
Bosh bosh bagosh.
Eliza Thornberry. There she is. And I was like, okay. But I'm trying to remember, like, did he come back and was like, oh no, it wasn't her? Or did he get
he said it wasn't vampires.
Oh, it wasn't vampires.
So I'll double check, but I'm like pretty positive he said that like the lead didn't even end up being vampires. So I don't, if we're going to get another Slayer, I don't think that this is it. Like, I just think it's, yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought that was interesting when I first listened to it, but then I was like, I don't think it was her. Because I was like so convinced, like, this is how we're going to introduce a new Slayer.
Yeah. Here we go. I found it. So Giles says there were no vampires, a bunch of school kids, and heavy mascara listening to extremely silly music.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think it actually was vampires at all.
Okay. So it was just seeing kids.
But
seeing kids things.
We need to talk about this anyway, though, because Giles, this is where I'm gonna get heated. So everyone's gonna need to calm down. All right. I'm about to get real heated.
I'm pretty calm.
Okay, great. Giles goes to the Summers residence to meet with Joyce, and he says, listen, I was in Oakland, like I was following up on a lead. It didn't pan out. It wasn't actually Buffy. And Joyce says, listen, like I can't hardly leave the house. Like I'm so afraid she's going to call. She's going to need my help. Like the last thing we did was fight. And Giles says, Joyce, you mustn't blame yourself for her leaving, which questionable, because I certainly partially blame Joyce. Joyce says, you know what? I don't. I blame you. And I was like, hold me back. Hold me back. The fucking audacity of this woman.
She was a savage in this.
Audacity of you to blame Giles, who has been nothing but a lovely surrogate father for fucking Buffy. You who said, if you leave, don't fucking come back now. Like, get the fuck out of here, Joyce. You're blaming Giles, who is probably not having frequent flyer miles and spending all his money because he obviously doesn't get paid enough as a watcher. He's just wasting all his watcher bucks, flying across the fucking continent to goddamn find Buffy.
How many watcher bucks do you think that you get in a calendar year?
Like 12. You get like no watcher bucks. You're poor. Giles is poor. He's book rich, but he is money poor. And this is, I'm pissed. I am pissed because she is doing nothing. She is sitting her ass on the couch and being like, oh, I hope Buffy calls. And get it's Giles' fucking fault. Get the fuck out of here, Joyce. She's the fucking worst. I don't understand how the show wants us to like her at all, because I am not on board with Joyce. She can eat a bag of dicks. Truly. Get out of here.
Yeah, the audacity of this one was ridiculous. I really did think that it was extremely fucked up for her to blatantly blame Giles like this. And she was like, you know, you're a bad influence on her. She's been hanging out with you so much, blah, blah, blah. It's like, his job is literally to protect your daughter from a fate that she cannot escape from. Like, this is like, he did not assign her this role. It was Merrick or whomever. Like, he is just there to protect your daughter, to make sure she doesn't die. And I just thought that it was pretty ridiculous. And like, yeah, you're right. How are we supposed to ever support or like Joyce when she's such like a fucking bitch? I
It's
don't know.
unbelievable. Like, they didn't have to do this. Like, she could have just been like, I blame myself, and he's like, oh, you shouldn't, and she's like, I can't help it, blah 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 blah. No,
Yeah.
instead she's like, fuck you, Giles, you're at fault. Like, how the fuck is Giles at fault? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean,
I was beside myself. I
yeah,
was so angry.
It was pretty wild. It's the vampires' fault. This is why we can't have good things. It's the vampires.
So Joyce sucks. I mean, what else is new?
We've been new.
Yeah. But I mean, they get reunited at the end. It was a lovely moment. Not any thanks to fucking Joyce, mostly just in thanks to Buffy and Sarah Michelle Gellar's incredible performance when they hug at the end. Like, Buffy is back. Love to see this. I'm excited that, like, I'm excited to see next episode her reunited with the Scoobies, more so than I was like at all excited to see her reunited with Joyce. You know, I feel like her reuniting with Giles and the Scoobies is way more like emotional. So we'll see when that happens. I assume next episode. But I thought this was like a decent premiere. I thought the Buffy stuff was a little lackluster, if I'm being honest. But I enjoyed seeing what Hellmouth looks like without its Slayer, where the Scoobies are not forced, but they are being the Slayers. I thought it was like a little ragtag group. I thought that was really fun. I loved, we all know, I loved the kiss. I loved the moment. This music is just
that scared me. It made me jump. Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, what did you think overall of the premiere? Was it strong?
I liked it. I think I liked it more in like the first half because I liked the tone. I liked the fact that we saw Buffy in a new location. I liked the Slayer, I mean the Scoobies acting as the Slayer. And then I think like once we got into the actual plot or like mystery of the episode, I think I was less enthused by it.
Yes.
But I think that like when I was first watching it, I was like, I'm really excited. I'm really liking it. Like, this is an exciting tone. Like, I liked Buffy with like this like edge. And I know that last season I was kind of concerned that she was going to be in like a weird funk, but I liked it. I mean, like, I have questions like, she's still suspended. Like, what is she going to be doing during her days? Is she going to try to finish school? Is she going to find it a waste of time? Like, is she back for good? Or like, does she just want to like come back for like a little time? Like what is her day-to-day going to be, especially if she's not going to go back to high school? And like, she's still dealing with the fact that, you know, Angel is gone. She killed him. And then, of course, we're going to find out, like, she's going to find out Xander's hand in the whole thing. So I think that there's just like a lot of shit that's going to go down in the next few episodes. And I'm just like kind of curious, like, what, without Buffy being in school, what does she do aside from being a vampire slayer? Is she going to become like a full-time slayer? Like, what is her purpose in life now?
Right. Especially because she's only slaying at night. Like, she basically will be like working a night job. Like, she'd sleep during the day and work at night, you know?
Yeah. A nocturnal queen.
I don't know. I'm interested. I think she'll end up back at school. I know one of your predictions was that she's going to be done. Like, she's totally done with school. I think she'll end up back there. I just don't quite know how yet. Like, I feel like it's gonna have to involve Principal Snyder.
She's gonna have to get rid of Principal Snyder.
Yeah.
Because he has like this freaking grudge with her and doesn't want her around. And apparently the mayor doesn't want her around either. So so that's the way to do it. To get rid of them.
Yeah. But overall, I'm happy we're back with the new season of Buffy. I'm really excited for what we have to cover this season because I know people love season 3. I think if I'm remembering correctly, people have said season 2 has higher highs but lower lows, and season 3 is more consistently good, if I'm remembering correctly. Which, fat chance. Who the fuck knows if I am?
Okay.
But do you want to know what season 3, episode 2's title is?
Yes.
Dead Man's Party.
Dead Man's Party. Oh,
it gives pirate vibes, but it also gives like ghosts, which was a prediction I made.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, in Harry Potter where Nearly Headless Nick had that like ghost party.
Nearly headless.
Yeah.
How can you be nearly?
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, we didn't get any feedback, so make sure you send some in.
The people hate this episode. That's why
they're like, "Fuck this episode. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want you to talk about it. Get the fuck out of here."
Goodbye, Anne. Adios.
Bye, Anne. Yeah, never knew ya. But yeah, that's our episode. Of course, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Leave us 5-star reviews because we greatly appreciate it. And yeah, at Shit90s Pod everywhere. You know, everything else we have going on. If there's something new, we'll let you know. We should tell the people coming out in just a few days. We'll have a bonus podcast for you. Bonus podcast? What? I know. We took the summer off. It's been busy, guys. But we are covering Drop Dead Gorgeous with our friend Stuart. And that movie was a wild time, and the podcast was really fun. So you definitely should listen to it. It will be out on Saturday. Anything else, Sarah, that you want to mention before we get on out of here and go back to Sunnydale?
Nope, Rooney.
Alrighty. Well, we will talk to you all next time. And until then, here endeth the lesson.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.